Well, good morning, guys. It's day 14 of CETA, creating every day in April. And as you probably know, April has 28 days, and we've been doing a word of the day beginning with a certain letter of the alphabet, and we've been doing them in alphabetical order. Makes it easier to keep up with. But unfortunately, April only has 30 days, and the alphabet has 26. So there are 4 days missing. And so in keeping with, the yin and the yang of life, there's actually 4 extra days in April. And those are the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th, which is a 7-day segment that creates an opportunity for us to rest on our excursion through the Southern Dictionary. And yes, Paul Duncan, the math will work if you just let it. Anyway, this is day 14, and as this has obviously been stated, this is one of our days of rest. So, at ease. It's I guess if you're a reader of the Bible, and if you're a Christ follower, or even if you are Jewish or from the Islamic faith and recognize the readings and writings of the Old Testament, you'll know that in the book of Genesis, God created the heavens and the earths and man and all that dwelt on the earth in 6 days, and he rested on the 7th. And so that's the backstory on why we rest on day 7 and now on day 14. Well, I decided to kind of divert away from the Southern Dictionary today and talk a little bit about other expressions that I heard growing up, because they were expressions that my mom liked to use a lot. And some of them she used more than others, depending on my behavior of that day. But, you know what? I just realized something. I never turned my studio lights on today. So, because we are live, I will turn them on and we'll make a quick comparison of how all this looks. Ta-da! I've got lights. Oh, that's kind of funny. On day 1, I think, God said, "Let there be light." And so it was. And so it is. As the Pharaoh and the 10 Commandments used to say, "As it is written, so it shall be done." So anyway, gosh, I'm way off the beaten path here. Where's my kill the rabbit? Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Wait a minute. All right, wait a minute. All right, here we go. Kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit, kill the rabbit. All right, we're back. Well, anyway, the point I'm making all this is there are a number of expressions that my mom used to use. Let's get into them. I'll let you take a look at them, and you can be the judge as to whether you heard your mama say these same things as well. It comes on a list, and it starts off with number 1 is, what part of no don't you understand? And I don't think I have to explain this. When your mama told you no, she meant no. And this was just another kind way of saying, what part of no don't you understand? In other words, behave yourself. No, you cannot go to your friend's house. No, you cannot have a new toy. But mama, no. What part of no do you not understand? She never said it in that tone of voice, but nevertheless. We'll go to number 2. Number 2 says, I don't care who started it. And this was probably used more when cousins of mine or friends of mine were over at the house, and we'd get into a tussle and get into a fight, and next thing you know, she's separating us, and I'd say, well, Mama, he started it. He hit me first. No, I didn't hit you first. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. I don't care who started it. Stop it. Bring back any memories for you? Maybe. How about number 3? Money doesn't grow on trees. Boy, I've heard that 1,000 times, I know. In fact, if I had $1 for every time I heard that expression my mom say it, I wouldn't need a tree that grows money. I would just have a lot of dollars. But that was one of her favorites. And she worked at a credit union, so she was all about money. She's a very fiscally responsible woman. And I'd like to think I get some of that, but, well, you know what gas is, right? Gear acquisition syndrome. And that's where it kind of goes off the chart sometimes with me personally. Number 4, your face is going to freeze like that. You know, I can remember several teachers telling me that. As I've mentioned in earlier episodes, I went to parochial school and was taught primarily by nuns, although there were a few lay teachers that were in the mix of my 8 years in parochial school. And one of them was meaner than any 2 nuns put together. She was an old maid, kind of referred to her as the gal who was waiting so long for her ship to come in, her pier collapsed, but nevertheless, she was mean. But she would oftentimes say to me, your face is going to freeze like that. Well, what was she talking about? Well, typically it was because we were sitting around doing this, you know, and making faces at each other, you know, or frowning or crying. And she would say, you know, if you keep doing that, your face is going to freeze like that. And suddenly we had this image of our face like this in a permanent condition in the latter years of life. Yeah, I don't think mine ever froze, but it is what it is. Your hands are not broken, and typically this was done in a situation where I was asked to do some menial task around the house, like cutting the grass and cutting the hedges, trimming the bushes around the house, or maybe unloading the groceries. And I would say, Mom, I can't do it. I can't do it. And she'd say, your hands are not broken. Get in here and get it done. Or get out there and get that grass cut. She didn't use that a lot, but it was one that she could have used. Beds are made for sleeping, not jumping. Now, I was an only child for 10 years. My sister came along when I was 10 years old, and so consequently, it wasn't really appropriate to put her on the bed and jump at the same time because she'd bounce off into the floor. But whenever I would have cousins or friends over for us spend the night, and we were a little rambunctious and jumping up and down on the bed and playing under the bed and doing all the things that kids do when they're in the bedroom late at night and your parents are trying to sleep, well, that was when she would come in and say, oh, beds are not made for jumping. I remember that. Number 7, no one said life is fair. And if there was ever a truer expression given by my mom, this one was true. Because it is true. Life isn't fair. You deal the cards you're dealt. If life doesn't give you lemonade, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right? We've heard that all these years. Life isn't fair. And we learn by our failures. We learn by people who fail us. And, you know, there is no participation trophy in life. You make of it what you will. Wow, I'm waxing somewhat philosophical here, but one of her expressions is, no one said life is fair, so I don't care what you want, you're not going to get it. Well, Mom, it's not fair. Well, no one said life is fair. And number 8, eat your vegetables. And it took me 65 years to remember or to realize that a vegan diet is not a bad thing. It's actually good for you. I've been on a vegan diet for quite a while. Yeah, I cheat every once in a while, but primarily I've cut out a lot of red meat and things like that, fried foods especially. But eating your vegetables is good for you. And she used to tell me that. In fact, I can remember one time I hated broccoli. I don't know why. I didn't like the taste of it. It would make me gag. And so I was sitting in the kitchen, picking over the broccoli on the plate that she had placed there for supper. Supper is a southern term for the final meal of the day, if those of you who are wondering about that. But anyway, she had put the broccoli on my plate for supper. And so I had eaten everything but the broccoli, and I'm kind of picking around, making it look like I'd eaten some of it, by spreading it out a little bit and leaving some voids that appeared to be eaten food space. You know what I mean? You've done that. She left the room, and in the kitchen where we ate, and our kitchen table was located, there were some windows just above the sink that would actually be raised to let the cool air in during the summertime. And I went over there and I opened the window and I scraped the broccoli off of my plate down onto the ground below that window. And she came in, I'm sitting at the table, and all my broccoli is gone. And she said, "Did you eat your broccoli?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am. It was okay." She said, "Did you really eat that broccoli?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And of course, my mother was a lie detector. She knew the minute I opened my mouth with a lie that I was not telling the truth. And that was true then. It was true of pretty much my entire life. I never figured out how she could do that. But finally, she came over to me and she said, "You ate your broccoli?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am," trying to be as straight-faced as I could. She said, "Let me smell your breath." And I opened my mouth and I exhaled, and she said, "I don't smell any broccoli on your breath. Where is that broccoli?" "Mama, I ate it." "Where is the broccoli?" "Mama, I ate it." "Where is your broccoli?" "Mama threw it out the window." And she proceeded to tell me to go get it and bring it back into the house and eat it. And I went outside and I found the remnants of the broccoli. I didn't find all of it, thank goodness. But I found enough that I thought maybe, well, just maybe, scraped it up off the ground, dirt and all. Fortunately, there were no worms or bugs on it. Brought it back in the house on the plate and ate it. And to this day, and since that day, I have never eaten broccoli again. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Eat your vegetables. But broccoli really does suck, in my opinion. Number 9, I don't know is not an answer. Tommy, what is 2 plus 2? I don't know, Mom. I don't know is not an answer. I think you get the drift on that one. I don't know is an expression that any kid should never use for their mom and dad, because they're going to get this reply. I don't know is not an answer. And then finally, because I said so. That's why. The universal answer of all parents everywhere across the globe, and perhaps even the universe. Mom, why can't I go to Earth and destroy the entire population? Because I said so, Joel. Mom, why can't I go see my buddy? Because I said so. She didn't need another reason. And in reality, neither did I. But those were expressions my mom used to use, and I hope you enjoyed them, and perhaps you have flashbacks of your mom or dad using those exact same expressions. You're at ease. Tomorrow we come back to attention with our letter M, our Southern expression from the word of the day, Southern Dictionary. And remember what I say, if you ever come to Alabama, well, you got to come see me. And I'll leave by saying this. Y'all come. Bye-bye.